Welcome back to another installment of Frizz and the Grizz podcast. My name is Trudeau. Thank you for joining us today. As always, my sidekick in action, D. Frizz himself. What's up, buddy?
What it do, baby? Happy fucking Monday. Whew!
Happy Monday indeed. This is episode number 4, I believe, man. Can you believe there's 4 in the books already?
Yes, sir, man. A full month down? Crazy to think, man. I'm appreciative of all of this. Everybody that's able to watch, listen, tune in live, or even the day after, even after that, catching us on YouTube or anything. Man, all the fans, everybody that's commented, everybody that's subscribed, liked, commented, all that, all appreciated, all love, man.
Yeah, every comment, every single comment I love and I appreciate it. So you guys are what make the show special. So keep it up. Keep following, subscribe, and review, and doing all that good stuff. Hey man, last time we met, we talked fantasy football, and I had my draft since then. And I swear to God, man, everything I said for advice went completely out the window once the clock stopped. I went completely against what I told people to do, and I'm still happy with the draft. But man,
Well, you get into that like zone, and then like the timer, especially if you do like an online draft where like you got 30 seconds for round 1 or like a minute for round 7. You're just like, dude, everything that I was planning for. Somebody picked someone out of order they weren't supposed to. Somebody went way faster, or somebody was still on the board. You're like, I don't know what the hell to do. But this year, I feel like both of my drafts really good, really solid. I know everybody says that, but like I feel real good about both of them this year.
Hell yeah. And I feel like if you're a listener, you're probably feeling good after listening to our special. I feel like we got you. I feel like we got you. And by the way, I got your boy, man. You convinced me. Chris Olave, part of the squad. Part of the squad.
To tell you the truth, and this is all honesty, the amount of people that have texted me saying that they picked up Olave because of this is absolutely hilarious. It might only have been 4, but that's 4 people that were listening.
That's
that
4 drafts that you
yeah,
ruined.
like I got to actually affect that. Like text me after, like, yo, I just picked up Olave. I just laughed after.
You're like, got him.
Hey, solid pick. You know what I mean? I don't know when he got drafted, and I think even in one of mine, I picked him up, and you could see like all the messages, like, oh, there he goes. It was going to be one of those, Saints guys or LSU guys. It's like, hey, man, I took him late. We'll be good.
Yeah, it's worth the flyer.
Yeah.
So today we'll do a lot of NBA stuff. Since we met last time, I feel like it was day after day after day, like a different NBA story broke. I mean, some of it's going to be a little stale because it happened, I think, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but we want a chance to talk about it because we haven't talked a lot of NBA yet. At the back half of the show, we're going to do a little bit NFL preview stuff. So we're going to actually look at betting odds. I think it's a good way to kind of preview the season to see like what the odds makers think will happen and kind of look for value there. And obviously, America's favorite segment will be in there. Frizz's 5. Just give the fans a little teaser. What are we ranking today?
TV oriented. We'll say that.
All right,
it's
I like
TV oriented.
So before we get into the NBA stuff, I did have a little story for you. I saved just for this. Did you see what happened to Poe, the Raven?
Dontari Poe?
No, the Ravens mascot.
Oh,
mascot.
no, but I heard somebody got carted off. Is this the guy you're talking about?
I think it was worth bringing up because it's hilarious. So they always have little things at halftime to entertain the fans. And at the Ravens preseason game, the preseason finale, they had like a mascot scrimmage. So the mascots played a Pop Warner team in tackle football.
Yeah, they usually like stiff arm all the little kids and whatnot.
Yeah, the mascots usually just go to town on these children, stiff arm them, and just nope, not today. These kids want to
Please don't tell me that someone took his knee out.
Oh yes.
Oh man.
Oh, the back. They want that strip sack from the back. The mascot went flying forward. They had to cart him off the field.
Oh.
He tore his ACL.
Oh, hate to see it, but that kid will never let that moment down for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that kid went beast mode, man. And you know what? Good for him because there's so many times where those mascots just wail, like grown men wailing on those children.
Like the Stanford tree.
Yes.
That little mother. He like every time he's on the field, it's just like a sweep left, and then as soon as someone gets near the Christmas tree, bang, stiff arm. Little kids don't got a chance. Or the duck from Oregon, hate them. Don't hate them, but like they beat up all the little kids.
The Michigan Spartan too. Watch out for him. He's mean.
He's buff. That boy got some muscle.
Don't mess with that Spartan. All right, so let's get right into the NBA stuff. We had 3 topics in the NBA we want to talk about. I'm going to give you the choice of where you want to go first. There's 3 to go to.
Well, just to get it done and over with, because I got to get it off my chest. I don't understand.
Is that it?
Yes. I don't understand what the Lakers are doing. Look, I get that you want a menace on your team. You'd rather have him than have go against him. So I get that part. But now Russell, one of them is going to play. One of them's not going to be there. Like Russell Westbrook has to be out now. He's not going to come off of the bench. Like to Pat Bev of all people, they literally hate each other. Like the locker room already is a mess, and like you bring in Pat Bev, and it's just like they talk during games, after games, like right at each other, and it's like you just messed up the locker room by bringing them in, and like I'm kind of on Russie's side now because like my beef is like statistics, you know what I'm saying? Like it has everything to do with on the court, but what they're doing off the court with them, like now I have an issue. Like get rid of the man, stop playing with his life. You know what I'm saying? Trade him or don't bring in Pat Bev. Like now there's an issue in the locker room that's going to be for years. It's not just this season. Like I'm a Laker for life. So like I'm thinking 10, 15 years down the road, it's like people are gonna be like organization's gonna do this. Like that type of stuff is gonna make it so people don't want to go there.
Can you explain to people who are uninitiated, like the origin of the beef between Pat Bev and Russell Westbrook? Because they do have like a history, and there's a legitimate reason why Russell Westbrook wouldn't want to be friends or even a teammate with Pat Bev, right?
I mean, I don't know the exact. I know that they just beef on the court. Please
want
enlighten
to know
me.
the origin of that? All right, so this goes back many years. I think this was back when Russ was part of the Wizards. And it was one of those plays where, you see guys could dribble up the court all the time and like they're half-ass dribbling and they're looking at the ref like, hey, I'm going to call a timeout, because like it's a thing that happens all the time. Yeah. So it's like honor code between players like, hey, they're going to call a timeout, whatever. We'll get near them and then they'll call timeout. So Russell's dribbling up the court, looking at the referee, gonna call timeout. Pat Bev comes in like a hawk and like goes for a swipe. But the thing about Pat Bev, if you know him as a player, like
he's going for the steal.
What's that?
He's not just gonna go for the steal.
I don't think he has ill intention. I don't think he's a bad guy, but I think he's just reckless with his body. Like he'll just throw himself around, and he got real close and actually clipped Russell Westbrook. I think it was his knee, and Russell Westbrook missed 2 months straight after that. So like, there is definitely a reason why he would dislike Pat Bev. And now they've held that beef for a very long time on the same team. It's going to be weird to see if they can coexist. I personally think this is just a sign that the Russell Westbrook saga, the Lakers are done.
Yeah. They can't keep him. Again, stop playing with the man's life. Like let him go somewhere so that he can start fresh. Season starts in literally 2 months. It's not that far away anymore. Like it's September. End of October is when the season starts. Like, let him get acclimated wherever he needs to go. Stop dangling trade over somebody's head, because like that should affect that affects you as a player. Like you just like, all right, am I here? Am I not here? Like, is my key gonna work when I go to the stadium? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, and like I'm trying to find destinations for Westbrook at this point, because I think the whole dream, the Lakers' dream of getting Kyrie for Westbrook, that's dead in the water. Because as soon as KD said he's going to stay, I think the Kyrie thing is they're at least going to ride out this year. And then it's like, is there a bad team with a disgruntled player that has a contract you can kind of match to get Westbrook and make the move? I could see potentially like a bad team that just wants to accumulate draft picks, like take the salary dump for a year.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, it's like there's not a lot of great fits, and there's not a lot of. The problem is with Westbrook, he has that supermax extension, so you need to trade away a significant amount of salary. And if you're a rebuilding team, you're not going to trade away young players, so it has to be a rebuilding team with a high salary guy. It's tough to find a match. Have you looked at like potential suitors?
There's not a lot, I'll tell you that. There, if anything, the only reason why it would have worked out with the Nets is because they would have had to throw in Seth Curry's contract. So it's like Kyrie being the big star, Seth Curry not. I mean, he's still a star. You know what I'm saying? But he's not. Good. He's good. He's good. But like, it would have been more of his salary, because I think they would have added THT with it too.
Oh no, he did get traded to the Nets. Mm-hmm. I mean, Seth's a valuable player. He's a plus. He's a plus contract guy.
He's a role player.
At this point, like, do they just straight out cut Westbrook and release him?
You'd rather have him. Like, they don't care about the. I do, because it's gonna produce results on the court when these two hate each other. But like, if they keep him, they'll play him, and they'll just have beef on the court. Like, it'll be that bad, because you can't cut him. Paying his salary off isn't going to do anything. Like, you need to get something in return, because if they dump his salary and they just pay him out, buy him out, like that's $40 million, and you get nothing in return. You got to trade him or play him. And if you play him, it's just a terrible situation.
It's a tough situation. I mean, I don't feel bad for the Lakers because
Yeah.
nothing's better than watching the Lakers suffer. But I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with Westbrook. I mean, the Pat Bev thing makes things infinitely more complicated. I don't think the move made the Lakers any better.
It
And
didn't move the needle. And
no,
it's not even a future because I looked ahead, obviously, just to make sure it's not something that helps him in the future either. Because like they extended LeBron to try to save some more money. He's not going to be a free agent next year, which is good. And then you look at the list of free agents for next season, and you're just like, who's going to sign with LA? There's no top tier stuff. Kyrie, like maybe, but like you could have just got him this season if that's the case. And you got like players like I think it's like Middleton and Harden, both on player options. They
yeah,
don't have to go anywhere. So there's no real free agent market next year. So I don't understand. Like I said, I don't understand the long game with it. It's a very confusing trade to me. Very confusing.
yeah, I don't see any potential suitors. I mean, I think Middleton's probably loyalist. He'll probably stay in Milwaukee. And then
Mhm.
Harden, while he's a free agent, I think the word has it in NBA circles that there was some sort of under the table deal with him and the 76ers to keep him around. So I don't think he's going anywhere anyways. Maybe you get Kyrie, but that still seems like a mess. At this point, I don't see any way out of this for the Lakers. Like they're just in a position where they're going to at best be a 4 seed and get kicked out in the second round. There's just no way out. I don't see any outs. They are what they are.
They are, and they're going to be that for I'd say another 5 years.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
And then after that, I mean, you guys are
Nothing.
screwed. Nothing.
Yeah, there's no draft capital. Granted, the only thing that we can hope for is LeBron does something to get a younger player in before he leaves. That's the only thing you can help hope for.
Yeah.
And granted, I just revisionist history. You have to look into it. The boy that's down in Orlando, number one picks tend to go to. I know it's your boy, but Paolo Bonchero. Number one picks tend to go from Orlando to LA. It's just the history. Y'all had Shaq. Look what happened. Y'all had Dwight. Look what happened. Now you got Paulo. I'm just saying, Lakers fans just automatically think that he's coming to LA in 5 years. That's all I know. That's all
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, if you look at the recent number one picks, I think everyone in recent memory re-signs that second contract because that team that drafted you can give you so
Can
much
offer
more
so
money.
much. Oh yeah,
Yeah, so there's probably no way he leaves until after 8 years or something.
he's gone after 5. Don't worry.
Yeah, and I do think like people like yourself who are being optimistic about the Lakers are like, well, LeBron has this effect where he can bring guys in. I don't think he's that dude anymore. I think players would likely go elsewhere and play with like a Giannis, maybe a Tatum, like someone else. I don't think LeBron is that guy anymore where he can just draw players. I mean, look at the past couple of years in the buyout market; they're not getting anyone. So I think that it's very telling.
It's not just him though. It's the team itself. The team is in shambles. The coaches, they're in and out. It's a revolving door. Ever since unfortunately, Jeannie Buss took over and Rob Pelinka and all them, it's been a when it was Mr. Buss, it was fine. But like since Jeannie was there, granted they got a championship, they sold out for it, so they got it. But they
Yeah.
set them back for quite some time because of it.
Did you see what happened with her a couple, I don't know, maybe a month ago with her Twitter account getting hacked?
She tweeted. I know she tweeted something about
PS5s?
no. I know it was something
Someone,
else.
yo,
Someone tweeted about PS5.
someone hacked her Twitter account, Jeannie Buss, right? The
Oh
owner of
boy.
the Lakers.
Yeah.
And basically she was tweeting out like with, the hack was tweeting out, hey, like I'm selling PS5s for charity, like DM me.
That's terrible.
People were DMing her and sending her money. So
Oh,
they're sending money to a scammer, thinking they get a PS5 and it was going to charity. Oh man, yeah, that's
that's
who's running the
crazy.
Lakers right there.
Yeah. Can't.
Ain't
So
good.
much fun.
All right, so we did allude to another team, another name in the Laker conversation, and I think the natural segue is to talk a little bit about what happened with KD because we were talking episode 2, and it's been the talk of the NBA offseason, like, hey, KD wants out, he's going to be on another team, and then just this week, it's like, no, we're all good, like we're happy, we'll stay, run it back. I don't know what happened. Do you have any idea? Do you have any theories?
I don't, and I don't want to guess on it. I just know that God, this mess in Brooklyn is it's so annoying. It's just, I don't know if it's like you said, a happy marriage, if it's just they don't want to get everything done and over with so that they can just be done with Kyrie next year. Who knows? But They should have just ended this when we started talking about it, weeks ago. We say, look, you're under contract. You're not going anywhere. Like, play the damn game. You wanted these players here. Then you wanted people out, and we got more players for you. Just play. And I mean, I don't know. I froze, so I don't know if you touched on something about Kyrie or anything like that. Like, I got my reasons as to why this whole thing started. It is rumor based, but that's just Brooklyn right now. They're a mess, but they're a mess that has the potential of winning the East, which is weird to think of.
Yeah, I would be more team KD if like he came out and just like, hey, this is the reason why I'm upset and I'm sticking by that. But like the entire time he didn't say much. It was rumored about the Kyrie Irving contract thing that didn't change, and he's still back. So I don't really know why he's disgruntled. I think at this point, though, what happened is the Nets just hardballed him. They're like, "Hey, we have your contract. What are you going to do about it?" Like he's like, "Well, fire the coach." They're like, "Nah, give Kyrie a contract." Nah, like I'm not going to play. Okay, don't play. And he's just like, "Fuck, they're not falling for any of this."
Yeah,
So,
they called his bluff. Even if it
yeah,
wasn't a bluff, they just said, "Look, man, you signed with us. Play the damn game."
I mean, the one interesting thing that came out of it at the very end was so they put out a joint statement like saying, "Hey, we're running back, like we're all good now. We've worked out our differences." And it was co-signed, it was the Nets and the boardroom, which is, if you're familiar, it's KD's like media company.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they're like offering him some sort of like media play in this, like something to make him happy for the time being, but it seems like it's a happy marriage for now. And you alluded to it, like low key, this team's roster is really good still, low key. Like
Yeah,
it,
that's
it,
not low key, man. That's their one. If they're level headed, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like if they're level headed and they just play the game, show up and play, that's a tough team, man. Like Joe Harris coming. We're just talking about the role
so
players. Joe Harris coming off
yeah,
of injury. Seth Curry coming off of a really good role playing season, like where he's jumped into the starting role in certain games. If and when Ben Simmons is actually back, he's now the third, fourth option, not the
uh,
second.
you didn't even
Like,
mention their two additions. Do you know that they added TJ Warren and Royce O'Neal?
no. Bubba Warren?
I
I
mean, it's
lost touch of him ever since the bubble ended.
he
But
missed all of
hey,
last year with injury, essentially, and
and Royce out of Utah is good, man.
Royce
Like,
is solid. Like if you
yeah,
don't know, like if you're not an avid NBA fan, like Royce is solid. He plays good defense and he can splash the three. Like he's an ideal three and D. Like him and Joe Harris, like as 3 and D guys, really solid. And you know what? I actually think they're better now than when they had the three of Harden, KD, and Kyrie. Because if you look at those three, their one weakness that everyone picked on was, man, they were so bad defensively.
yep.
And Ben Simmons, while he does have a ton of flaws in his games, I think he's multiple time all
NBA
defensive first
defense. Yep.
team. Yeah, and he's finished as a runner up to the depoy. So that dude can play defense. So this team, it's weird. I feel like they are the team with the highest variance. They could finish the 7th seed, and I could be like, "Yep, that makes sense." They could finish in the 1 seed. I'd be like, "Yep, that makes sense." So it just
Exactly.
depends if they're going to show up to play Ben Simmons and Kyrie, and like, can you depend on their consistency?
Yeah, that's literally the name of the game for Brooklyn. There, and I like that comment there too. You never know. And to tell you the truth, it's there's some weight behind it with the KD part. Kyrie is just a nuisance and annoying, but like we all know how KD is with the media and the way that he does troll via Twitter or even just like the comments that he says. But like, it's it's so weird to think that the team that has the most controversy is actually one of the best teams in the NBA. They just need to have a level head. And granted, everybody says, well, they got Kyrie. They're not going to have a level head. If he does, he is one of the most dominant one-on-one ball players in the
Yeah,
NBA. Like, he will go off for 50 like that. A blink of an eye, and you're like, oh my God, he's got 30 in the first half.
he's also not a terrible defender. He gets a lot of steals.
Passing lanes. Yeah. He
Yeah,
he plays off ball really well. And that's like you said, defense is huge. And I know that I cut Ben in our segment back in the day, but like that's a defensive problem. 6'10"
yeah,
can cover literally 1 through 5. He doesn't need to. Everybody can clown him for not shooting. He doesn't need to in Brooklyn.
yeah.
Literally doesn't have to touch the ball on offense.
I think personally the best way to utilize Ben in Brooklyn, if you just imagine who they would roll out as a starting five, they don't really have a true center. They have Nick. I like Nick Claxton, but he's not like a guy you got to play on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm the Nets, I'm rolling out like Kyrie, KD, Ben Simmons, Royce O'Neal, and Seth Curry, and I'm playing Ben Simmons as like my five. Let
Just
him play in the
rotate.
paint. Just pick and roll with Ben Simmons. You don't need a true big. I mean, he's big enough to get boards and play down low. And then if he's like your unofficial five, you don't need him to spread the floor.
Very true. High pick and roll, not even high pick and roll, off ball screens and backdoor cuts. Because if, like you said, if you have him running up against those Rudy Gobert, was Rudy Gobert going to stay in the paint? That's fine. Then you're just going to run a pick and roll with him to switch.
Yeah.
And well, yes, you're right. If he does go against, appreciate the comment, Ty. If he does go against true centers, Jokic, Embiid,
Right.
Giannis, like if he goes against those players, then that's going to be a matchup hazard. But
it's all situational, though.
Yeah, 90% of the NBA doesn't have those three players. Like those three are the best at their position. And Philly's also got their issues on offense. So like it's going to be situational. I'm intrigued with the way that the top 5 projected teams for East and West are going to actually turn out. I think it's going to be a fun NBA season.
Yeah, and I was trying to make the point, like, I don't think you're going to play Ben Simmons as your center every night, but in certain matchups, you absolutely can, and it's going to hide his weaknesses. As much as people don't like Ben Simmons because he's afraid to shoot, doesn't necessarily have to shoot if he's going to play very good defense. And he's low key is a very good low post scorer.
That's the thing. So, that's what I'm saying. If you switch on him, he's bullying everybody but a center, and he's quick enough to maneuver around the center. And I'll make one last point when it comes to like that positionless basketball. We just saw the Golden State Warriors win a championship. Like there were times where Looney was out and Draymond was running the 5. And he was bullying Robert Williams. He was bullying Grant Williams. Like that position. Granted, I think he's a better, obviously, all-around defensive player. But like you can win in situations with those style of matchups.
Yeah, I mean, it's all to be seen because we haven't even seen Ben Simmons take the floor
in 2 years,
year and a half, 2 years. So he might not even play. I have no idea. And just another point is just like that Eastern Conference, man, is really good. Despite the Nets being that talented, the Celtics probably the betting favorites in the East. The Heat just made it to the conference finals. The Bucks are very, very good. That Eastern Conference, man, I don't want anything to do with that. Not at all.
Good luck, Boston.
Right. Yeah, man.
That was a shot. I had to throw that shot in there.
You don't like Boston?
No, can't stand them. I'm an LA fan. What do you mean I don't like Boston?
I'm asking, do you not like them like out of
outside of bias? I think they have a talented team. If this were the time frame where we're gonna say it, where I got something to say, I'll save it for another episode. But like, I got an extremely hot take when it comes to that team. We'll hold off on it, but it's something that's. I think Boston will be good, but there's something that's holding them back, and we can hold off on that.
What is it? I'd love to know.
You want to go now?
Yeah.
Hot take, sounder if you had it, but we don't need it for now. Jaylen Brown is the better player on the Boston Celtics. The player that's holding them back. The player that's holding them back right now is Jason Tatum. Granted, it's just the playoffs. It's just the finals. He had a horrendous, absolutely horrendous finals. Jaylen Brown is one of, if not the most consistent players in the NBA.
And he couldn't dribble in the playoffs. Are you kidding me?
Jaylen Brown?
Dude, he dribbled off his foot every chance he got, dribbled right off his foot.
He got to the hole when he wanted to. He averaged, I'm pretty sure, plus 20 in the finals against any matchup that he had. Like, miss me with it, man. Like, Tatum's a 1B. He's not a 1A. He's not that guy. Not yet. Can he be? I don't know, but we keep saying that he's an 18-year-old. He's the youngest prospect. He's in the league for 5 years now. Right, good. But like
he's good. The second half of that year, if he did what he did in the second half, the whole year, he'd be the league MVP.
If he did what he did in the second half in the NBA, in the playoffs, they would have won the championship.
He was fantastic.
But instead, he turned it over
No.
Miss.
He was fantastic in the first 3 series. He was fantastic in the first 3 series. And then in the finals, you find out afterwards. I think someone could help me in the chat, maybe Ty.
Oh, don't bring up the injury. Do
He had a
not bring
he had
up the injury.
a broken
Oh my
something
goodness.
hand or whatever. Like
Kobe
the man.
Bryant played with a broken index finger and didn't say a damn thing until the season was over.
All right,
No,
I'm just
no,
saying.
no. Actually, he didn't even say anything. People found out. He didn't go to the media and say he had a broken finger.
Basically, let me just state your point real quick. So your point is that Jason Tatum was great all year and in most of the playoffs, but because he had a bad finals, he's trash. And
no, I didn't say he was trash. I said Jaylen Brown is better than him. I did not say he was trash.
Did you see
I said Jaylen Brown is the better player of those two right now.
I want you to look up how many turnovers Jaylen Brown had.
And then add 30 and you have Jason Tatum.
And in the playoffs, he had so many.
And then you add 30 and you had Jason Tatum. Because Jason Tatum broke the record for most turnovers.
Of your Celtics hating this. Listen, I am actually not the biggest Celtics fan, despite rocking the Celtics jersey right now. But like, you're talking about a team that just went to the NBA Finals, right? They were the betting favorites. They were the betting favorites in the finals. Granted, they lost to the Warriors, and they added Malcolm Brogdon, like a fantastic defensive guard. Like, this team is only better than they were last year, and they were a final.
I didn't say that they were a bad team. I said I think Jaylen Brown is the better.
You said you wouldn't take the Celtics, like you were not on the Celtics this year to be do a good job.
No, I didn't remember saying that. I said that the Celtics, the Celtics are a good team. I think the player that's holding them back with all of his hype is Jason Tatum. I think Jaylen Brown is the better player.
That's a hot take. I wish I had the sounder for that, because that is as hot as the takes get, man.
And we learned,
time will tell. Time will tell. But I guarantee you, man, you're gonna see Jason Tatum again this year, finishing with an All NBA team, whether it's second again, or I don't even know if he was first or second, but he's gonna finish the All NBA
first.
Yeah, that's the player you want over Jaylen Brown, who wasn't even an All-Star. But okay,
All NBA can be a popularity contest. Just realize that Jaylen Brown has outperformed him in key situations. I'm just saying, it's the proof is in the pudding. In key games, in key situations, Jason Tatum does become a ghost, and you can use the NBA Finals as an example. Granted, he played like dog crap, right? First NBA Finals, you can use that as an excuse. They may not make it back. It is really hard to make it back.
No, it's hard.
It's even extremely hard to make it back as the runner-up. Like,
the thing I like about their chances, though, making to the finals is I think that the one thing that carries over from year to year is like defense, and especially if you have a scheme that everyone is familiar with and can gel into. And that's what carried the Celtics, was that defense. It wasn't one player getting hot and carrying a team offensively. It was a collective. I think, forget Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, really the Celtics' hope relies on Time Lord. If Time Lord's healthy and can play, that team, the sky's the limit. But when that guy's not out there, it's tough, man, because playoff Al ain't going to happen again. Like, I know we all, as Celtics fans, was big on Al Horford this year. I don't think you're going to see that again, so you need to have Time Lord out there. I love how we just got into a random Celtics spat out of nowhere.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
All right, so let's wrap up the NBA. There's one more thing we want to talk about from this week, and I think we disagree on this one as well. Yes. I feel like this was a good intro with the Celtics to get our disagreement, get warmed up. But I think it was on the Chet Holmgren thing, right?
Yeah, I'll start. You can go off too. I'm a huge fan of this not being a thing anymore. I like that you want to get this man. I like that you want to get college players, ready for the NBA, right? Pro-Am games, all that. I hate the fact that this player, being a top 5 draft pick, is now not going to see an NBA court for a season because of an off-season injury. Like, you want to get the experience? Sure. He hasn't trained as an NBA player yet, meaning he hasn't hit the regimen. He hasn't hit the weight room the same way that like NBA train. Like, it's the off-season. They're still doing their own workouts and whatnot. That's why they hit up the Pro-Am. But when they get to the Pro-Am, they get absolutely bullied. And now we got an injury of him out for the whole season. Like, I like that you're trying to improve your game. I don't like the fact that you just cost your team. Not saying that the Thunder were going to be the number 1 seed, right? But what I am saying is that they no longer have their first-round pick because of something outside of the NBA season. We could have seen the same thing happen with Paolo when they played against Dejounte Murray.
Like, that juju on me.
I'm just saying, like, you're putting all these rookies, like, they have the keys to the organization, and now he's gone for the season for something that he didn't step on an NBA court. I dislike it. I'm not saying
So
that they need to put it in contracts, but like I'm just not a fan of it, man.
So, like, is your disagreement just that they are rookies? So, are you fine with any like a second year player going out and doing pro-ams? It's just the rookies?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. I don't know how to rebuttal that because, like, for me, if you're a hooper, you're gonna hoop. Like, it's not like baseball where you're just in the offseason maybe taking swings. Like, you're not gonna get hurt like working on your swing and batting. I mean, you could, but it's less likely. So become better at basketball. Yeah, you can shoot in an open gym, but like that's not gonna prepare you for an actual NBA season. Like to be prepared physically, you're gonna have to ball. And that's what he did. He was just doing what he does. And granted, we're making a big deal out of Chet getting hurt, but would we care if it was a 56 overall pick? Would we care if it was a second rounder, a late first rounder? We're just making a big deal because it's a name we know and it's a guy that like we were already kind of worried about because of his frame. I don't know. I just saw this past weekend the Celtics lost the Rooster, right? Gallinari, he just hurt himself playing FIBA. So like let me ask you if Chet was playing for Team USA in some sort of international competition, is that okay? Like
I'd
where's
have
the
the same
line?
problem. I'd have the same problem. That like if you're spending the draft capital, like they traded to get these picks, is what I'm saying. Like they made moves before it wasn't just they had the number one pick, you know what I'm saying, or like the first round pick. Like teams are moving all this capital before these players even get to their team to then draft them for them to not be there. Like
Mhm.
get on the NBA court after that season. Do your thing. You've
I
played a
mean,
year. You played, and I get that he played up against. I think the play was even against LeBron. I
yeah,
think
LeBron
LeBron went
did
to
it.
the lane and like bodied him, and like he's got to get used to that. I understand that. Get
I
used to it while you're on an NBA court is all I'm
I
saying.
guess I guess my issue with it is just like we're picking apart the situation just because it was a pro am. Like if it was a preseason game or game one of the NBA season and the same thing happened, like we're not upset.
Right.
So I just don't understand what the distinction is. Like maybe you can make the point, hey, at the pro am, the facility isn't up to par as an NBA arena, or maybe if someone slipped on sweat because like you have the sweat guys at the NBA court
Mm-hmm.
side swap them off. If it was one of those, I get it, but it was just a basketball play. It could have happened anytime, anywhere, and even if he wasn't hurt playing the game of basketball. We see it in football all the time. Guys training in the offseason, doing cone drills, whatnot, like getting their body in shape tear an ACL. So like
Tyreek
injuries
Cohen.
are fortunate. Yeah, Tyreek Cohen. There you go. Like injuries are unfortunate. They're part of the game, and whether it's a pro am, whether it's lifting weights in your garage or shooting jumpers, like it's going to happen. And I just think we're all making a big deal because it was at a pro am and not something else.
I, I
I
I
don't.
feel you. I'm not saying that I disagree with you. I just me personally, with the way that the NBA is, where like you're one player away at any team, one player can literally change your franchise.
Yeah,
Granted, they already have young players. You know what I'm saying? Josh Gideon, I think was their player last year that they had.
He's nice out of
Yeah,
Australia.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like they have it set up with
SGA
young
too.
talent with the and Shy, like they have young talent. And it's like who knows if that piece would have been to get them, from a lottery pick to this year's Pelicans. You see what I'm
Hey,
saying? Like
will we be honest about the Thunder though? Low key, Sam Presti is like happy about this because he loves himself a good lottery pick. Like he's all about tanking. Like the tank's already on. Tankathon 2023 has already started, man.
I don't even know who's gonna be coming out in next year's
Oh,
draft.
dude, this draft is really, really, really good. It's like a
Mhm.
generational draft. The number one pick, Victor Wembanyama, he is from France. I think he's 7'1" with like a 7'5" wingspan.
Mhm.
He's essentially Rudy Gobert, but that can shoot and has no issue with pick and roll. And he's from France. He's fantastic. And then there's another guy, Scoot Henderson. Like
I've heard of
this
Scoot. I have heard
this
of him.
is what I've been told. The top four guys in this upcoming draft all would have been number one this past year, easily, hands down.
I'll have
And
to
maybe
look
the year
into it.
really good. So, like, if you're going to be a bad team, this is the year you want to be a bad team. Yeah,
All
Ty
right. Well, I
knows.
mean, hey, maybe I don't follow college hoops or high school into college hoops as much. I'm more of a football, guru for it.
Yeah.
The only name that I know that might be coming out was I think his name was Amani Bates or something like that. He was supposed to be like the next LeBron. I don't know if he fizzled out or anything like that. So I'll have to look into it. It's just the red shirt thing is cool, but let the red shirt happen in an actual season. You see what
He's
I'm saying?
not going to play this
No,
year.
he won't. You can't play him. You can't rush him back, no matter what. Even if he's healthy, game 60, what's that going to do? Potentially hurt him for next year. No, just save him.
Yo, I just feel bad for it's Shy. I always thought it was Shay for some reason. So it's Shy Gilgeous-Alexander.
I know a Shy, so it might be Shay.
We'll go with
it's spelled the same way.
We'll go with Shy. I just feel bad for him because I don't know what year he's entering, like 4 or 5 in his NBA career. He's a solid player, and the Thunder are just taking his career and just throwing it in the trash can with all this tanking. I feel bad for him.
Yep, hate to see it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Chet, I was down on Chet going into this whole process. I did not like him in the draft. I just think he's too small of a frame, and unfortunately, I can't be proven wrong or right because I'm not going to take injury as a victory there. Maybe he comes back, maybe he uses the year to bulk up and put some muscle on. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be saying the same thing about Zach Wilson.
That's your guy. He'll be back. He'll be back week 2, man. Joe Flacco's going to go out there, win week 1 for the Jets.
Mike White looked good. Mike White looked good out there in
preseason.
But
I like Mike White. They're going to start Flacco. He's already been named the week 1 starter, which is ridiculous.
You don't know. You already know what you have with Flacco. Yeah,
they're tanking.
You already know
they're
what you
tanking.
have.
All right. It's time for America's favorite segment.
Okay, baby.
Prepare yourselves for the greatest and most unique segment in podcast history. Let's rank some stuff with D. It's time for Frizz's 5.
All right. Coming out hot.
So you alluded to it in the beginning of the show. You're going to rank something that's entertainment or TV based. So what is our topic for today?
So for today, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little tougher to figure out segments, what to go for, just because it was a crappy Monday, but it's a better Monday because it's almost over. It's almost Tuesday already. Today, we gonna rank Frizz's top 5 comedy TV series. And this is a wide range. This is a wide range for some old heads. It ain't the Cosby's, so no, you're not gonna say shit like that. But it's a wide range from, me growing up to something that you see today. Number 5, let's start this.
All right.
Big Bang Theory.
I'm not giving you a yay for that. I'm disgusted that's the list.
Good. Number 5.
Theory, it might be the worst TV show of all time.
It might be. Dog, the jokes that they have in that show, it's more of the delivery. I don't even understand half the science shit that they say. Has nothing to do with what they're saying. It's the delivery of what they say, right? Sheldon being I don't care about you. Hey, hold on. I didn't even say it. Let me clear the throat on this one. It's not your top 5. It's my top 5. So yes.
Can I say something?
What up?
I'm legitimately shocked that your list has the Big Bang Theory.
Dog,
of all shows, I would have.
This is 5. This is 5. It's an absolutely hilarious show. Again, I don't understand some of the shit that they say, but it's the delivery. It's the delivery of someone being a sarcastic asshole and just responding back to somebody with some scientific shit. For me, I laugh all the time I watch that show. So, again, it's my 5. I don't care about it not being in your top 5.
That's
number
fine.
4.
All right, you're done with my criticism. Go for it.
I would have been done with that one. Number 4, I'm going back in the day with my boy Martin Payne.
I don't know what that show is.
You've never seen Martin?
No.
So it's an original TV series with Martin Lawrence, his first gig outside of House Party from back in the 90s, way before Bad Boys, way before all these shows, all these movies that he did. It's him, Tisha Campbell, Tommy, Pam, and Cole. Dog, it's absolutely hilarious. They push the envelope on certain things that they say and do. Definitely take a look at it, man, because it's Martin Lawrence. It's Martin Lawrence after his whole comedy effect, on stage, and they actually gave him a show for it. So like it's absolutely hilarious. And it's all 90s humor too. So like shit that you could say back then or do back then. Nowadays you go, whoa, wait a minute. I don't know if you can say that on TV. So like Martin Lawrence is absolutely hysterical. Tisha Campbell just makes it even better. Obviously, Gina. We all know the relationship. That everybody wanted the Martin and Gina relationship. So that show is in my top 5 for sure. And it sucks that you've never seen it. Definitely go take a look at it.
I'll look it up. Martin, huh? I'll give it a look.
Got you. Number 3. I'm going with Family Guy.
Okay. All right.
Like I said, wide range. I know it's cartoon, but it's still a TV series. And one of, if not the funniest characters in the history of TV, bro, it's Peter Griffin. I can't not laugh at some of the shit that they do in that show when it's either A, pushing the envelope, just a little bit too far, or just like some of the animated scenes that they have that just it's absolutely hilarious. I could watch it all day, every day, background, literally sit up, pull up a bowl of, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, all that. And it's a funny ass show.
Are there other cartoon like comedy shows that you'd put up there that aren't in your like top 5?
Cartoon?
Like animated, so like similar to Family Guy. So like for example, Futurama, The Simpsons, Bob's
Not
Burgers.
really. I don't watch those. No.
Bob's Burgers. Check out Bob's Burgers. That's a good one.
Bob's Burgers made a movie, didn't they?
I think so. Yeah. It's the guy from Archer. I don't know if you're familiar with Archer either.
Archer is a hilarious show. It's like one of those like if there were more, because the first 2 seasons were great.
Yeah.
Everything after that was like hit or miss. But like again, the sarcastic asshole, like that's perfect for that. I loved Archer, but not my top 5. And this is where it got juicy. This is where it got real hard in figuring out which one to pick. But number 2, it's got to be Fresh Prince. It's got to be Fresh Prince.
Okay.
And it ain't even because of Will. Dog, the funniest characters. First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil might have been one of the funniest father characters on TV. You put him up there with Bill. You put him up there with Uncle Eddie. No, I don't think it was Eddie. Who's the Family Guy? I mean, Family Matters father. Carl Winslow. Like father figures that were actually hilarious. And then you got Carlton. Carlton outside of season 2, like outside of season 1, like when he was too preppy in season 1, and then you had him have some funny, lines, like his comebacks, undeniable. Same thing with Jeffrey. I had this little thing a while ago. I was like, would I rather have Jeffrey as my butler, or would I rather have Wilfred? Is it Wilfred from Batman? Wilfred.
Winston? No, I don't know.
Wilfred. One of them. Like one of them is gonna always be there. Like, oh, you need something? Here you go, Batman. Like, yeah. But like Jeffrey's always there to crack a joke. Like this shit was it crack out. It didn't matter who you were. So I think that's again my top 5.
Before you get to number 1, Alfred, thank you, Higgins. Before you get to number 1, like I feel like there's gonna be so many good omissions. Number 1 has to be this one show because like it has to be, or we're never gonna podcast again. It's not
gonna be yours. No, I know for a fact.
There's so many good shows. So many good shows.
It's a hard top 5. No lie, because
like you're just joining us. His number 5 was Big Bang Theory.
Yes, it was, and I ain't changing that. I ain't changing it because of Sheldon Cooper. One of the funniest motherfuckers out there. But
if number 1 is young Sheldon, I'm gonna punch you through the screen.
I ain't gonna worry about that, bro. Ain't that. But number 1, I can't. Again, it is for me the funniest show that I've ever watched. It's Modern Family.
Man, that's tough.
And again, look, the reason being, okay, this is the reason behind it. Al Bundy on steroids, like all the stuff that he could get away with Married with Children, and now he has those nice little zingers on Modern Family. Ed O'Neill is the GOAT. That man has always been hilarious. I see myself as one of those old, 60, 70-year-olds. Like you just you hate everything. You hate everybody. Comes off like that. Cam, love characters that aren't gay that get to play a gay part. because they are absolutely hilarious when they do that. He's one of the fun. I don't know if you watch it, but Cam in that show, his mannerisms, the things that he does, the things that he says, absolutely hilarious. And then the last one, I think it's the father. I can't remember. Phil Dunphy, the guy from Dawn of the Dead. Like that's all I think of is like he was a character in the movie Dawn of the Dead. He was the asshole in that, but like he's the dummy that the dummy real estate agent. Absolutely hilarious. And hey, big sleeper for that one too. That was definitely a runner.
All right, so I'm not gonna like Modern Family is a solid show. I'm not gonna hate on you with your list, but like these are some shows that you omitted. I want to get your opinion on it. First of all, I don't understand how you leave The Office off of the top 5 of best comedy. That show is genius. It'll age beautifully forever for all time. Like I dude, every time I watch it, it's just hilarious. How?
Unpopular opinion. I've never watched an episode of The Office.
Dog, I'm so happy for you for that because here's
Not
the
a
thing.
single one.
You watch it, you'll love it, and you have so much you have never seen. It's fantastic.
So the thing is, I've seen so many snips. I've seen so many like memes, so many GIFs, however you want to pronounce it, like 50-second clips of that show that like I don't know if I ever want to watch that show because like I've just seen it so much without seeing it that I don't know if I would enjoy it. I don't know.
Darian, give it a try. I'll find a good episode. I'll send you like the link to an episode to watch. It's worth
one episode. Like I even hear people saying like you got to get through the first 2 seasons.
No. You can just pop in. You can just pop in and enjoy the comedy of it, man. It's fantastic.
I'll think about it.
You'll think about it. Oh, Yves. All right. In a similar vein, the same producer, creator of The Office, also created Parks and Recreation. Have you ever heard of it?
I have heard of it. I haven't watched it, but I have heard of it. And this ain't a disclaimer because again, it's my 5. I don't care about it. I don't watch as much TV as a lot of people may watch, right? I don't have Netflix. I don't have Hulu. I work, I game, I used to play football. That was it for a very long time. So like I have some limited shows, limited taste, but as all entertainers would say, I'm all ears with suggestions. Like that's part of the show is like broaden my horizon because I'm not gonna lie, like I could watch the same 5 shows and be good every single day if I was watching them.
The thing about The Office too is like I don't think you need to sit down hardcore and watch from start to finish an episode. Like if you get the gist of like how some of the stuff works, you can just kind of like pop in and out and just like, oh, that's funny as hell, and just like come back 10 minutes later, oh, that's funny as hell. This dude,
he's got a point, but it's not a comedy show. It's literally one episode means something for the next episode. That's not a comedy.
I gave up on The Walking Dead. I watched all of The Walking Dead until Negan killed. Spoiler alert: Negan killed Glenn. And I was like, I'm out already.
That changed a lot. It literally changed a lot of people's perspective.
All right. Just a couple more really quick. Have you ever watched Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yes. Yeah. And it's there. I have because it was daily. What's his name? The little guy, Charlie.
Charlie Day.
Yeah, Charlie. Like that is.
That's just funny and raunchy, man.
Yeah. I saw the episode where homeboy came out of the car, the couch all glittered up. Like, it just reminded me of like some Ace Ventura shit. It's hilarious, right? But like I said, I haven't watched it enough. I have watched all those other shows every single episode, which is why I think it's hilarious.
And then I like the Larry David property. So Seinfeld, the classic, and Curb Your Enthusiasm is a good one. So if
I was in college, I probably would have voted that because Houghton used to watch that all the time. Big shouts to to A. Houghton if he's listening or watching. But like he used to watch it all the time. Larry David's okay, but like it wasn't as funny to me back then. So I don't know if it'd still be funny for me now.
Yeah, it was good, man. It's good. This might be. So we did last week, right? We had your Frizz's 5, and I put on the Twitter poll. You can get to Twitter at @true_podcast. But I put out to the Twitter universe. Do you agree with this top 5? Is it good or bad? And you got majority thumbs up. They liked your top 5 when you ranked fast food chains?
Fast food last week. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to come back so late. I'm just saying that right
again. Now. I don't care because it's not your 5. It's my top 5.
All right, let's close out the show with a little NFL stuff. The season starts not this Thursday, but next Thursday. So we're under 2 weeks from this kickoff of the NFL season. We were trying to figure out like what's the best way to kind of preview some of the stuff instead of like doing like a league preview. We want to just maybe look at NFL betting odds because basically it's Vegas telling you what they think is going to happen. So we'll look at it to see if there's any value. So basically, guys that aren't projected as the favorite to win, are there anyone that you can get good action on where if you bet on them, you can make more money and we think that they have a chance of winning said award or, if it's a team, if they can win the Super Bowl or whatnot. So let's start with the player stuff. So the player props, D. Do you want to start with the big one, the MVP, or do you want to go somewhere else?
I like player props. We'll go with the MVP.
All right. So we're both working
Trying
off
to
of
find this.
DraftKings.com right now.
Mhm.
And we'll just name off the top five, and then if there's someone else below the top five, we can get into that player. So the top five in order from heaviest favorite to an MVP to lowest, you have Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Aaron Rodgers. Josh Allen's at plus 650, which for those who are unfamiliar with betting, essentially what that means, if you bet $100 on Josh Allen to win the MVP, you would get back $650 if you won that bet. So Darian, of that list, or the list in general, the whole list, is there anyone that you would personally place a bet on where you think either A, this guy's a lock and he should be a lock as a favorite, or B, like this guy's farther down the board, but I think he has a good chance and it's worth the bet?
I'm locking in Josh Allen. I
Really?
think this is. In my next comment, it has nothing to do with just the show. It's just the situation and circumstance. But Josh Allen right now, I think he's about to absolutely blow up this season. And not only just statistic wise, but it's working in his favor with the media because we all know that awards are kind of popularity contests in certain situations. It doesn't always mean that they're the most valuable player on their team. It means that they were the best player that season, right?
Mhm.
We've seen it happen with a ton of times with Aaron Rodgers, where he's not the best player in the league, but he's the best. Sorry, he's not the best player. He's not the MVP of their team where they could still be successful if he was gone, but he was the best player that season. And
Right.
Josh Allen is, I think, in the prime example. Granted, I know it's the favorite, but everything is just set up for that team right now for them to finish 13-3, 13-4, 12, 14-3, whatever, how many games they play. I think it's 17 now. Like just for them to have 40 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns, and like them make the AFC Championship, possibly the Super Bowl. Like it's just set up for him popularity wise, where like the league is starting to downfall with the Mahomes treatment because of now 2 back-to-back years of not, producing in the playoffs. Brady is always going to be in the conversation, but I think he's over the hill when it comes to MVP talk. That O line is going to be in some serious trouble for him. And I think that might be it for A-Rod. I think he's done after this season. I don't think they're going to let him go back-to-back again for MVPs. Just process of elimination, I'm going with Josh Allen and his opportunity.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm out on Aaron Rodgers because it's tough to go back to back. So, like, I think you made a good point. There are several factors in like an MVP vote. One is how successful is your team, right? If you're on a bad team, you're not going to win it. So you have to be successful at the very least. And then secondarily, I think there's a lot of storyline that goes into it, right? I think Josh Allen is the favorite, and I think he's deservingly so. He should be the favorite. I low key like the value. I'm just looking down the list to try to find some value. I kind of like Dak Prescott at plus 1,600. He's on quote unquote America's team, so there's going to be a lot of hype and buzz. He's going to get a lot of TV time, right? That's important, right? To have your face in the headlines. If the Cowboys play well, he's going to get the credit. Like it's going to be on him. So if the Cowboys, and they're a good squad, if the Cowboys finish with 12 wins, 11 wins, and he's had a very good season, I don't see an argument where he wouldn't be the MVP, especially considering they're looking at that division, the NFC East. That's a pretty tough division between the teams in there. So at plus 1,600, basically you're getting nearly a 3-time payout if that hits over Josh Allen. So like just for value, I think it's worth it. But I agree with you. Like Josh Allen has everything in his favor for him to win the MVP, right? And I don't think he's won it before. So that's also a factor. They like to give it to first-time guys. I would like to go with Lamar at 2000.
That was a sleeper.
But the offensive weapons really aren't there. And I do think the media is going to give pushback to give it to a guy twice unless he's very good. So
he has the opportunity to be that though, because again, contract year, like he doesn't. It's essentially he could get franchised. He most likely will get franchised next year. Actually, he could show up as like the sleeper. Just all he's got to do is throw 30 passing touchdowns, and it'll quiet everybody up.
yeah, there's no one else I really like
Mm-hmm.
else on this list. There's no one else that really gets me.
It's not going to go to a running back. So like get
No.
over. That's what I'm saying. It's too much of a
Quarterback.
they need to either keep it as offensive player of the year, best quarterback of the year, or like it shouldn't be MVP because it's no longer going to anybody outside of a quarterback. It's just not that type of league anymore.
How do you feel about this one? Like, this is interesting. Like, as a super deep sleeper, just to throw maybe $10 on it. Trevor Lawrence is plus 8,000. Like, we know he's a good quarterback based on the projections out of college and his college career. He's on a team that we expect to be much better this year. They have a very weak schedule in Jacksonville. If Jacksonville goes from being like the bottom of the barrel to not a 10-win team and Trevor Lawrence is good, he could be in like a conversation at the very least. And if you're getting plus 8,000, to put in perspective, you would get a 15 times payout over Josh Allen. Like it's worth maybe throwing $10 and just hoping for the best there.
Could be. Different coaching obviously is going to help him tremendously. I just think when we talked about situation wise, when we say like or storylines, I don't see a 9-10 win team producing an MVP in this day and age because 10-7 doesn't look as good as 10-6 did. See what I'm saying?
I think the one thing that would benefit him if it was a 10-win team in Jacksonville is that they went from, I don't know if they have 3 or 4 wins last year, but the improvement factor of like improving 6 games could benefit him. I don't know, but yeah, I'm with you. I think we've nailed Josh Allen, Dak, maybe Lamar. Let's see. Are there any other player props that you like? I was looking at offensive player year, which is different than the quarterback one, because you were talking earlier. We're like, oh, I wish they just got rid of the MVP because it goes to quarterback. But offensive player of the year, it's kind of an open award where you don't have to be necessarily a quarterback to win this award, right?
No, that can be any position. So most likely it's usually a running back or a wideout.
Mm-hmm. And
again, that's the secondary drop down for it, which is so weird.
Yeah, so like you're talking about running back or wide receiver. So if we're looking at the player props from DraftKings, it goes just like that. Equal odds to win for favorites: Jonathan Taylor and Deebo Samuel at plus 1,000. So that means if you bet $100, you get 1,000 back. There are a lot of good players on this list. The first couple are our skill positions. The 6th best is Josh Allen. Anyone here that you like? Because I'm looking at this list. I do agree, like a running back, wide receiver. I tend to go away from the running back because they get injured, but you're going to probably get more consistency. Like, you know what you're going to get. It's going to be less variability. I kind of like Derrick Henry at plus 1,400 he's the 4th favorite to win this award, because we know with Henry, like if he is available, and health is going to be the biggest issue with him. If he's available, exactly, they're going to run him to the ground. And if you just look back 1 year, obviously he was injured the second half last year. He had over like, I think 1,500 yards. So he's more than capable of having the offensive load to win that award. It's just a matter of health.
Yeah. Not a bad one. I think my first two, and I know I said it's typically not a quarterback trophy or quarterback award. So first I would say I think there's value in Justin Jefferson. I think it's 1,500 plus 1,500. New offensive coordinator. In Minnesota. Granted, Kirk Cousins isn't the best, but like we understand, like the offense runs through Justin Jefferson down there. Delvin Cook's going to get his, but he's most likely going to get hurt, like we're all most running backs do. But the offensive coordinator coming from, I think it was the Rams. We all saw like the types of offense that I know McVay has his hands in it, but you still have Josh McDaniels per se. You see what I'm saying? Like you still have the offensive coordinator that's producing the routes for your team. And we saw what Cooper Kupp did last year. I'm not saying that Jefferson's going to have the same style of season. We may not ever see that type of triple threat wide receiver again, leading receptions, touchdowns, and yards. But Justin Jefferson, we know the talent and we know that the style of play calls that they had in LA last year. So like, I think there's really good value there. And just because I hate popularity contests, but the league is setting up for the next wave, Justin Herbert. out in LA, just because like if he has a season which he's projected 45 to 50 touchdowns as a third year quarterback, because he's over the sophomore slump, it gives him the opportunity to win that award. And yeah, it's not just an LSU thing, man.
Called out.
It's always going to be about them Bayou Bengals, baby.
You know what one's actually kind of interesting? I haven't really put a lot of time into this list, but plus 4,000, which is you're gonna get good return on investment there. Travis Kelce, he's obviously taking over as essentially wide receiver one in a really explosive offense. I know he's a tight end, so he's not gonna get the same numbers as like a traditional like number one wide receiver. But if that offense is really good and that team is really good, which I could see both being true, him as the number one scoring threat plus 4,000. I love like good bets like that, like not good bets, but like big returns. Plus 4,000, you could put your money on Justin Jefferson, $100 if you really like him. Throw $10 on a guy like Travis Kelce, where maybe it doesn't hit, but you could see it potentially happening if things go right, and you're going to get a huge payout.
Yeah, I like that. Because again, it's not just the wide receiver one, but like they're gonna move him every single place that they can to get him on the most favorable matchups. Even if it were, if they had Tyreek, when they had Tyreek there, like you can only move Kelsey's certain areas because then you don't want to put him in a spot where like one guy can cover both of them. So like now they can put him on the solo positions, and if you try to double him, like he's gonna muscle a lot of those corners and free safeties.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one really. There's a ton of players here. I don't know if there's anyone really else worth mentioning. I thought a weird one, just looking down the list of like I don't understand why people are even betting on him. Hunter Renfrow at plus 6,000. He's getting better odds than Joe Mixon. He's getting better odds than Alvin Kamara. He's getting better odds than T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle. Mike, I don't get why people are.
Was it? Oh my goodness. There was a similar to this, and I know that it was Ryan Clark's podcast. They did an interview with somebody that's playing right now. Can't remember who the player was, and they mentioned Hunter Renfrow because he was Derwin James, corner for the safety for the Chiefs. And they were like, "Yo, who would you say are the toughest guards in the NFL right now?" He's like, "You gotta go Devontae Adams, not Smith. We gotta go Devontae. He's up there with the GOATs. Like he'll be one of the best to ever play." He named another receiver. I think he named Cup, and then he's like, "You gotta go with Renfrow." And then he kept going, and then like Ryan Clark stopped. Was like, "Wait a minute, wait a minute! You did not just throw in Hunter Renfrow with the likes of Devontae Adams and like Jamar Chase." And he's just like, "You don't have to cover him. Hunter Renfrow's that dude." So like, I'm not surprised to see that. But like, obviously, it's not gonna happen. But like, he's respected in the league. He has been since he came out of Clemson. Like, he was that dude you didn't want to cover because he's a Wes Welker, Julian Edelman type ish.
Yeah, he's a good route runner, and he's shorter, so he's more shifty. He can cut in and out of routes a lot easier. So like, I can't imagine it must be a pain in the ass trying to cover that guy. Yeah.
When he said, I laughed, and then like Ryan Clark literally laughed right after. I was like, wait a minute, you didn't just put him with those guys.
We finally got to hit up the Kawhi Center. I just want one more because I love it. All right. I feel like we got maybe one more player prop in us just because we're getting close on time. Do you want to do Depoy or offensive rookie of the year? Because I feel like either one you can go and have some fun with.
I'm a big fan of the offensive rookie of the year.
Hell yeah. I was hoping you would go there because this one's interesting. If you look at some of the other betting lines, right, there's like a clear number one and there's like tiers below that. The offensive rookie of the year is really tight. The top, let me see, 7 or 8 guys are all pretty much in the same money range. So there's a lot of uncertainty who's going to win this. I'll name off the first 8 guys. So just to give the audience an idea of what we're looking through in order of the favorite to the best return. Breece Hall, number 1, Kenny Pickett, Sky Moore, George Pickens out of the Steelers, Chris Olave, your guy from the Saints, Romeo Doubs, Damian Pierce, and Jalen Tolbert. So I do think there's some 1 or 2 guys below that provide value, but the majority of the betting is going to those top 8, and for likely good reasons because those guys should be the favorites. For you, right? Any of those guys would you put your money on?
It needs to be in the top 10 or can it be a guy outside of it?
Oh, you want to go deep? No, go for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So I find tremendous value out of Kenneth Walker III.
I
I
was going
think,
to say that. That's my guy.
yeah, that is a big boy. Good running back. I think that he's got a way of being explosive because look, Brees is gonna get the ball, right? We understand that. Brees is gonna get the ball in New York. Like Pickett, he's still fighting for his spot. And
I don't know about Brees actually because there's been reports that Michael Carter, they're from last
they
year,
might split.
they're saying he's still the RB1, and I think they'll probably split. I thought Michael Carter when he played was actually a pretty good back.
He produced the second half of last season. There were some sleeper producers in New York. I don't want to get on a Jets topic again because we did way too much of that. But I think again the guys that leap out at you, like I said, Brees and Kenny. The quarterback situation is wide receivers that aren't the number one. Like I'm not saying I don't believe in Sky or George, but like they're okay fill-ins. Pickens is a bully, and Sky Moore is going to be a kind of wants to be a Tyreek Hill. But like when you get into the Olave Pierce, like we understand the Texans are going to be a tough team. Tolbert might not be there. That might not be the starter. Romeo Dobbs is like, fighting against Randall Cobb as a slot receiver. So like you get down to like Walker area where it's just like he's going to get the ball. Like they're going to continuously run him. It's someone that I would trust. Again, 1,400 plus 1,400. You put, like you said, a couple bucks on it. I think you get extreme value out of that compared to just betting the house on Brees Hall or
Yeah,
Kenny Pickett.
it's so tough because I think there's red flags for any one of these guys, right? Brees Hall, we just talked about Michael Carter being a good running back that could take carries. Kenny Pickett's not going to start week one. I think Mitch Trubisky is better than people give him credit for. I think that Trubisky will at least get 6 starts under his belt, and people forget that Pickett, while he had a fantastic last year at Pittsburgh, he was very mediocre to bad the first 3 years. He actually is a 24-year-old. He played all 4 years, so I don't know how I feel about that. Sky Moore, like you said, the 3 wide receiver there in Kansas City. People just love his speed. I think it's more of his name that's really propelling him in the betting odds.
Yeah.
I do like either Pickens or Olave here. I would put my money 50-50 on Pickens and Olave, and I'll give you the case why. We just saw this past Sunday that Deontay Johnson for the Steelers had to leave the game with a shoulder injury. He went up, caught a pass, landed on his shoulder. They had to help him to the locker room. So with the shoulder injury, yeah, it's not lower body, but as a wide receiver, you need a good range of motion to high point balls and catch balls where they need to be. So I don't think he'll play week one at this point, and then we don't know his status going forward. So you're going to Pickens was the number 3. He's then going to be bumped up to number 2 receiver. He could have a ton of volume, and the same thing with Olave. It's the same situation where they're number 1. Michael Thomas hurt his hamstring about a week back now. I honestly don't know the update on him, but I don't trust Michael Thomas to be there all season. So again, it's a guy who very fast. Jameis loves to throw the deep ball, could have a lot of volume. So if for me, I'm going maybe 50-50 between those guys. And no one else really stands out. I like Dameon Pierce for the Texans, but bad offense, and he's going to be in a timeshare likely. Kenneth Walker, I think I love that pick, D. My only concern is that he is injured right now. He hasn't played yet. Well, he has played a little bit in the preseason, but he hasn't played for the past week and a half or so. So I don't know when he's going to come back to the field, and he's going to have to battle Rashad Penny. So obviously, with me saying all this, you can tell I've been deep into fantasy research because I know way too much.
Well, I mean, the good thing about it too with the Seattle situation is like, at least for Rookie of the Year awards, it doesn't have to go to somebody that plays the whole season. I'm pretty sure it was 2 years ago. Huh? Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, actually, the past 2 years, Chase missed a couple games, and Jefferson missed.
I mean, both of them put up historic numbers, though.
Exactly, but I'm saying like you can miss a portion of the season and still come back and still be in the running for rookie of the year. Different than like the NBA where they cement it as like as soon as the draft happens.
Right, but if you're Kenneth Walker, you're not going to come back and tear up the NFL with that Seattle team, unfortunately.
They might trade for Jimmy G. No, I know. I think they just told Jimmy that they're sticking with him.
Yeah, so he's there for another year at San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. They need insurance for my pick to be the best quarterback this year, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's not going to see the field unless he gets hurt, Trey Lance. That's for certain. All right, let's wrap up. One more. I know we've been.
Yeah.
I know it's a long one, man. I feel like we go for another day, but so let's just go to the big one. Super Bowl. Right now, the betting line, I feel like it just changed actually when we're doing the show. Right now, the Super Bowl favorite to win the Super Bowl is the Buffalo Bills at plus 550, followed by the Buccaneers, Chiefs, Packers, Rams, Chargers. I don't want to go too far down. 49ers, Broncos, Ravens, Cowboys. I'll stop there. Where are you placing your money? Because for me, I'm probably going to look for some value here. A team that I low-key like, I'm just going to roll with it, is the Ravens at plus 2,000. Even if Lamar is decent, they have a good defense. They should be, in theory, much better with their running game, with returning of Gus the Bus and what's my guy? No, it's tough that I'm blanking right now.
For the Ravens?
Yeah, they're running back that missed all last year. J.K. Dobbins. Thank you. So I guess I'm going Ravens. It's got some good juice there, but I don't know. Do you have any idea of where you'd go?
Safe bet for me, and this is just because of historic. Kyle Shanahan is a guru. So I think a safe bet, if you're just trying to throw some money down on it, 49ers could be a team that comes out. They always have a really good defense. Debo's back without any issues. George Kittle is still a problem. They got a committee backfield. Shanahan's going to draw up plays to make it. They made it to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G, and Lance is a better quarterback. Like, they have the opportunity to draw up, scheme up, get them to the conference championship. And I mean, Packers didn't want to play him. Packers got beat by him. Rams didn't want to play him. Rams almost got beat by him. So it's like they're going to be a tough out. So granted, you can put your money on Buffalo, but like if we're looking for actual value, like you were saying, like I think San Francisco is going to be a team that you could potentially get some money back from. And then the sleeper for me, it's the Saints. Plus 4,000. You think I'm kidding? Look, this is the way it goes. The team returns a top 5 defense, right? Jameis Winston was on pace to having an MVP. Yeah, eating dubs. He was on pace to have a historic Saints season. Like, he was not turning the ball over. He was making excellent decisions under pressure. Kamara's not getting suspended, at least for not 2022. So they're returning an entire offense plus Michael Thomas. Like I said, this is plus 4,000, mind you. If you get a chance, like you said, throw a couple bucks on it. Dennis Allen could lead that team deep into a playoff run.
You might as well take those dollars and burn them if you're going to bet on it. Instead, do yourself the favor. Jameis is not going to lead a team to the Super Bowl.
Hey, man, we didn't think that Jimmy G could do that, and look what happened.
That's fair. All right. Well, we forgot to say this on the front end. So if you're viewing the stream, please find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, and subscribe, rate, and review. We really appreciate that. And likewise, if you're listening to us now on your headset, you don't watch live, check us out on Twitch. I honestly think the live is a preferred method of watching the show, because you can actually comment, and like Ty's here, he's very active. Like, you become part of the show. So if you're, listening, check us out on Twitch. It's at @DFrizzy_Frizz. I'll put that link in the show notes. So if you open up the show and the information, you'll find it there. All right, D, I had a good time, man. Did you have a good one this week?
Absolutely, man. I love doing this. Like, it doesn't matter what part of the year it is. Like, we get to get online, talk some sports, talk some shit, have some hot takes that people can hold on to for years. I don't give a damn. It's fun.
I love that attitude. All right, guys. We'll see y'all next week. Peace out.